All right, everybody, you've made it to another Meaning to Live Short Therapy Jed Said video, where we make your life as easy as we can, using the fewest amount of words as possible. My name's Jed Thorpe, licensed therapist. Now, some of you might not be able to use the whole COVID excuse like you did last year, so let's prep for this. Let's get an idea as to how we can get through this holiday season being around family you might not have been around for a hot minute. So that's what the video is on. I think you're going to dig it. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I think you're going to dig this. Before we continue though, push the subscribe button. 85% of the people who view these videos aren't even subscribed. And let's change that, you know what I mean? It's good information. If you like it, you should put a thumbs up, put a comment down. If you don't like it, be sure to put a thumbs down with a comment so I can know how to better serve you guys in the future. You know what I mean? That's why I'm here. With that said, let's just get right into this. 3 ways as to how you can get through these crazy holidays that our culture insists that we have every year or so. We're going to get together as a family. We kind of had a green card, like a pass last year or so with this whole COVID thing. But now, we're getting together more often. Let's figure out how to do it. Number 1, there's some expectations that people have when they're in get-togethers. I expect this to happen, you know. And ideally, you can have expectations, but don't be crushed if the expectations aren't met. No family is perfect out there. It might not go according to plan, according to how you're wanting it to go. And when that happens, if they're not behaving in ways that you would need them to behave to be okay, or expect them to behave, just remember, that's okay. It's not about me. Their behaviors aren't about me. A lot of times when people behave badly, what the recipients of the behavior will do is they'll take it personal, like, oh, they're doing this because they don't respect me, or they don't value me, or they don't believe me. I don't know, whatever it has to do with, man, we take it personal. So just knowing this whole idea of not taking it personal and not expecting them to behave a certain way, because they're just not going to all the time. Families, right? Every family is pretty unique, and every family isn't perfect. So lower the expectations, that'll help. So number 2, realize that their behaviors, well, they're attached to whatever that person values, and their values don't necessarily have to be your values. A lot of times we'll go into these family situations and we'll want to be accepted so badly that we'll change our values in order to align with their values. You know what I mean? Their values aren't about you. And in their unhealthy way, or maybe yours if you're doing this, if you're trying to really get someone to believe what you want them to believe, remember, that's just you trying to feel important on some level. So, number 1, lowering expectations. Number 2, remember, their values aren't about you. And your values, by the way, aren't about them. You can have yours, they can have theirs, and you can all get along. Isn't that nice? So, where are we at? Number 3, sometimes people won't accept that you don't have their values. And when that happens, they can be mean. You know what I mean? That's anger, right? Anger is just a way for someone to control someone else's behavior. So if you're not behaving in a way that's acceptable to them, that they have the expectations around, or maybe they have issues around their own feelings of worth and insecurities, if that's happening, odds are there can be some mean things said. So number 3, RESPECT. There's a respect thing going on. If you go in guns a-blazing, you know, which happens when people are really trying to get an outcome on some level, or so afraid of a different outcome, they'll go in and try to control the situation by being aggressive and whatnot. So remember this, they'll follow your lead. They'll follow your lead. If you roll in respect, hey, okay, you want to talk about religion? I'm not really interested in that, but you can bounce this idea, and if you feel like you need to be heard, I'll respect that, and I'll listen to you. You know, that's okay. Respect. Be nice. You know what I mean? Don't go after their jiggly bits. Don't go after their soft spots, because they're family. We know their history, and they know ours. If we go gunning for their sensitive areas, things that we know that they're ashamed of or have insecurities around, odds are they'll get defensive and come swinging in their own passive aggressive way. So that said, RESPECT, just be nice. There's a saying I like to think about a lot, and it goes something like this: am I building up or am I tearing down? So just build people up. You'll be amazed at how they will get into alignment with that. Anyway, psychology is cool. And there you have it. 3 ways just to get through these crazy holidays. Number 1, lower expectations. Number 2, remember their values are about them, not about you. And it doesn't affect your worth, how they think of you, or if you don't believe what they believe, that's okay. So, and number 3, RESPECT. Remember, like, man, we have a lot more in common than we have out of common. So that might be something you can do if things get a little shaky. Hey, let's talk about what we have in common. If, however, they're kind of insistent on being rude, or it's hard not swearing in these videos. If they're insistent on just being aggressive and, not nice, usually this happens if there's some intoxication going on. So if this happens, then you can say, if all else fails, redirects don't work, you can just look them in the eye. You could ask them, hey, why are you being so mean to me? That kind of catches people off guard. That's a fun one. Or you could say, are you trying to guilt me or are you trying to shame me? Which one is it? That catches people off guard too. The ultimate though, if they just don't come around, man, you can just look them right there, in the eye sockets, in the depth of their souls, and you can say, well, thank you for showing me, what you think of me. It doesn't sound like I'm valued here, so I'm going to go somewhere else. Ultimately, don't we all want to feel safe? If you're in an unsafe place and it's proven to be unsafe, man, why are you there? I know. Oh, well, Jed, I need to show people that I'm a good person because I go to family stuff. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the healthiest thing for you. There you go. So look at them in the eye and say, hey, all right, it doesn't sound like you really value me as a person, and I'm not in the habit of being around people who don't value me. Jed said it's okay if I didn't stay here. And you can even say that. And they'll say, who's this Jed Said guy? Anyway, that's that. That's the video. 3 ways on how to get through this crazy holiday season, because we can't rely on COVID anymore to isolate us from the wildness. I can say that. I can even say my family is a little odd. I can say that because I never watch these videos. It's okay. So without further ado, let's end this. It's been a long time. I'm probably going to cut some of this out to make it a little shorter, but ultimately you're going to want to go to the website. There's a lot of good information, tidbits on there, a lot of awareness up. You can find it at www.meaningtolive.com. And until next time, awareness up.